very good morning. You're watching Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha with the breakfast news. These are the morning headlines today. Foreign Secretary level talks between India and Pakistan postponed. India says it will extend all possible help to the Pakistani Special Investigation Team on the Pathankot probe. Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Azhar Mohammed not arrested, says Pakistan denies reports of National Security Advisors meeting in a third country. Last day of the odd-even traffic scheme in Delhi today. State Transport Minister Gopal Rai says second phase of the scheme could be implemented. Use of Aadhaar card, seeding of bank accounts with Aadhaar numbers purely voluntary for direct benefit transfer scheme, says RBI. And India win the toss at Brisbane after Shikhar Dhawan's cheap dismissal. Kohli and Rohit Sharma's steady innings in second ODI. Well, after days of suspense, India and Pakistan yesterday agreed to reschedule talks between their foreign secretaries. The announcement indicated that India was seeking more concrete action from Pakistan in its investigation into the Pathankot airbase attack. Meanwhile, Pakistan's foreign ministry said it was not aware of any meeting of the National Security Advisors of India and Pakistan in Paris.
The action taken against Jaish-e-Mohammed is an important and positive first step.
India welcoming the initial Pakistani investigation into the Pathankot airbase attack, agreeing to reschedule the Foreign Secretary level talks.
Foreign Secretary spoke to his Pakistani counterpart today. They agreed to reschedule their talks in the very near future.
At a similar media briefing in Islamabad, the Pakistani Foreign Ministry on Thursday denied that the national security advisors of both countries had met in a third country.
Both the countries are in contact to firm up the date for the meeting of the two foreign secretaries. As to your second question, I am not aware of any such meeting.
The Pakistani Foreign Ministry also denied reports that Maulana Masood Azhar, the head of Jaish-e-Mohammed militants, had been arrested.
I am not aware of such arrests. And as to the information provided and your question related to it, as you are aware, this was mentioned in the press release that was issued yesterday. It was considered at the high-level meeting. And in addition to that, I can only say that the two governments remain in touch.
India claims that it has handed actionable evidence to Islamabad that it says implicates the Jaish-e-Mohammed. Vikas Swarup said a special investigation team will reach India to help probe the attack.
The government of Pakistan is considering to send a special investigation team to investigate the Pathankot terrorist attack. We look forward to the visit of the Pakistani SIT, and our investigative agencies will extend all necessary cooperation to bring the perpetrators of this attack to justice.
The Pakistani Prime Minister's office said the government had made considerable progress in investigating the attack. It also claimed that the offices of the organization are being traced and sealed.
हमने बारहा कहा है कि टेररिज्म जो है हम सबका दुश्मन है और इसको मिलकर जो है ख़त्म करने की ज़रूरत है। ये तवक्को की जाती है कि जब इस तरह के वाक़यात हों तो उसमें जो है दोनों ममालिक आपस में जो है वो मिलकर जो है उसको हल करने की मसले को हल करने की कोशिश करें।
News reports 2 days ago claimed that Maulana Masood Azhar was detained along with his brother and brother-in-law. There were also claims that he would be in protective custody for at least 30 days.
India and Pakistan have agreed to defer the foreign secretary level talks with mutual consent. And obviously, India wants more action before the talks can be begun. Akhilesh Soman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person D.K. Pandey in Delhi.
And political parties also reacted to the government's decision not to drop the foreign secretary level talks with Pakistan. Many called it the only way forward, even as they said Islamabad should take measures against people involved in the Pathankot strike. Listen in.
अच्छी बात है सरकार ने इन टॉक्स को विशेष परिस्थिति में रीशेड्यूल करने का निर्णय किया है.
When they say they've rescheduled, who are they fooling? There is no talks today. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. We will not disagree, but we need to know what is the reason why the talks were happening, what is the reasoning why the talks are not happening.
The foreign secretary level talks, there was a big apprehension that talks would be called off, but talks have not been called off. Talks have not been given up or deferred. Talks are being rescheduled, and I hope the talks will be held as early as possible.
देखिए, शिवसेना समर्थन तो कभी नहीं करेगी जब तक पाकिस्तान की भूमि से हमारे भूमि पर आतंकवाद जारी रहेगा. तब तक पाकिस्तान के साथ किसी भी तरह से रिश्ते रखने में शिवसेना को कोई रुचि नहीं है.
In a situation like this, India would prefer a NSA meeting before the foreign secretary talk, because in Prime Minister Modi's agenda, the top priority is given to the terrorism. So I think that would be very important for them.
Well, to shed more light on where things stand at the moment, I'm being joined by our correspondent Akhilesh Suman, who's been tracking this story very closely. Akhilesh, a very good morning. The talks have been deferred. No future date has been set. What are your sources in the MEA telling you? When can the talks be rescheduled?
Yeah, actually, Tina, what did Mr. Vikas Swarup, the spokesperson of Ministry of External Affairs, said yesterday that talks might take place very early, very early. So, but when we ask that if the talks has to take place very early, then what is the reason that talks have been postponed or deferred? So he has no particular typical answer about it. But lastly, he told that we need active, credible and comprehensive action against the perpetrators of the crime that has happened in Pathankot. So one can understand from this thing that some arrests had been taking place in Pakistan due to this attack. But after that, we came to know that Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar has also been attacked. Last 2 days, there was a dramatics in Pakistan. First news came that Jaish-e-Mohammed chief has been arrested. Then it came that no, he has been detained. And then it is coming that he has been kept into protective security. And then it is coming that we don't know where is he. So it is such a dramatic that was being played from the Pakistani side that it was baffling to the Indian whole political and administrative system, and that is why talks has been deferred. So when the talks will be taking place, India needs some credible action about Jaish-e-Mohammed chief. Where is Jaish-e-Mohammed chief who was perpetrating, handling the whole attack in Pathankot, and whether he has been arrested, what action has been taken, and whether an FIR is there against him. These are the questions that India wants to clarification on, and I think that NSAs of both the countries are in touch. And once India gets such an answer, I think the dates of new dates of talks will be announced.
So, Tina. Akhilesh, is India awaiting more serious action from Pakistan as far as Jaish-e-Mohammed is concerned? Are we waiting for the Pakistani probe team to actually come to Pathankot and then hand over some concrete information to India about what their next move is going to be?
Yeah, naturally, India, when you have such a serious attack like airbase of the country, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi had taken a big challenge, even when his political adversaries, even the allies like Shiv Sena is not in favor of having any talks with talks with Pakistan, and Prime Minister went to Lahore for showing a bonhomie with Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, and then we came back. This type of things is happening. So I think that India wants a credible action against. Particularly against Jaish-e-Mohammed chief, Maulana Masood Azhar. And then what is the whole thing that who has been arrested, who has not been arrested, what is the case made against whom, these all details. And a special investigation team that will come from Pakistan. India has said that we will have a proper cooperation with a special investigation team, but some action should be visible on the ground in Pakistan.
Certainly, Akhilesh. Many thanks for joining us and giving us those details. Now, shifting focus, Delhi's odd-even car rationing scheme will end today. The government has started the scheme on the 1st of this month for a period of 15 days. Since then, it has claimed that pollution levels have come down significantly. The government is also considering a second phase. It could decide the dates after a review meeting on Monday. Yesterday, the Supreme Court came down heavily on the petitions challenging the scheme. Calling them publicity stunts, it asked people to cooperate with the scheme. In the first 12 days of the scheme, the traffic police booked 2,000 violators. All right, and we're also being joined by our correspondent Ravindra Sharan. Ravindra, good morning. 15 days of successful running of this scheme. The Aam Aadmi Party, of course, is calling it a huge success, and they're quite keen on bringing it back. So when do we see a second phase of this car rationing scheme back in Delhi?
Yeah, good morning, Priti. This will be decided by the government after the 28th of this. After they will decide and they will see, the analysis will be done, how it was successful, and then the scheme will come again. Yesterday also in the Supreme Court, a big booster for Delhi government as the Supreme Court backs the odd-even scheme, saying that some of the petitioners and nearly rebuked the petitioners, saying that you are making a publicity stunt.
Yes.
And the government is doing a very good job. Also, the judges of the Supreme Court are carpooling, and you are doing this only for the sake of publicity stunt. After this, the government is in moral booster for the government, and now they are planning to do again. The transport minister already said that they are planning to bring the scheme back, as Delhi government, the people of Delhi has hailed the scheme very much. They contributed and participated in the scheme. So now it is for the...
All right, we seem to have lost that line with Ravindra. So as we were telling you, today is the last day of that 15-day car rationing scheme. The Aam Aadmi Party is going to re-implement the scheme very soon. We slip into a very short break here. On the other side, more news to follow. To stay with us.
Hello, I am Ishan Russell.
I'm Tracy Shilchi and you're watching News Tonight.
Together with the team of our
Dedicated professionals from across various fields.
This is Shyam Sundar,
Vishal Dahiya,
Akhilesh Suman,
Frank Pereira from Beijing, China.
Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
We bring to you
the news that matters here on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. You're watching Breakfast News. Now, India has assured full security to Pakistan International Airlines offices in the country after 4 members of the Hindu Sena vandalized the airline's office in New Delhi yesterday. The Pakistan High Commission took up the matter with the Ministry of External Affairs, seeking adequate security to the PIA offices in New Delhi and Mumbai. The police has also made 1 arrest in the incident.
4 लोग एज कस्टमर्स एंटर किया और उसके बाद अंदर में कुछ गैजेट्स और चेयर्स फर्नीचर को रैंसैक किया, उसको पटका है। और हमारा जो एक पुलिसमैन यहाँ पे डिप्लॉयड था गेट पे, अंदर जैसी रैंसैकिंग शुरू हुई ही एंटर्ड और उसने एक बंदे को वहीं पे अरेस्ट कर लिया।
Shifting focus now, the central government on Thursday approved a drought assistance of 791 crores for Telangana. A high-level committee chaired by Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh took the decision yesterday after the state government sought an assistance of 1,300 crore rupees. The committee examined the proposal based on the report of the central team that visited the drought-affected districts. Drought was declared in 10 states, including Telangana last year, in more than 280 districts altogether across the country. Deficit of 14% in the southwest monsoon was recorded due to the El Niño phenomenon. Meanwhile, the Reserve Bank of India clarified that direct benefit transfer scheme benefits will not need compulsory declaration of Aadhaar cards or seeding of bank accounts with its numbers. In July 2013, the RBI had asked banks to take steps to complete account opening and seeding Aadhaar numbers in all DBT districts. Earlier, the RBI had also advised lenders to open accounts in camp mode with support from local authorities. On the 15th of October last year, the Supreme Court lifted its earlier restriction and permitted voluntary use of Aadhaar cards in welfare schemes that included Manrega, all pension schemes and the Provident Fund, besides programs like the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. The wholesale price index-based inflation fell for the 14th straight month in December, dropping 0.73% compared to 1.99% in November on the back of tumbling oil prices. Wholesale fuel prices dropped 9.15% from a year ago in December, while prices of manufactured goods declined 1.36% year-on-year. The price pressure points remain, particularly in food articles, as food prices gained 8.17% year-on-year. Following these figures, the Reserve Bank may come under pressure to reduce key lending rates further as industrial production contracted by 3.2% in November, its sharpest decline in 4 years. Governor Raghuram Rajan said the banks will carefully look into the latest data on industrial production and give a reasoned response. And India's trade deficit with China has risen to a whopping $45 billion in 2015. This comes on the back of India's rapidly increasing imports from China, leading to an unsustainable trade imbalance.
India has been pushing for more access to the Chinese markets for its goods, and the latest trade deficit figures prove how unsuccessful that attempt has been. The trade imbalance has only worsened over the last few years. Trade between both countries reached $71.63 billion in 2015, failing to meet an ambitious $100 billion target set by both countries. But India's already large trade deficit with China ballooned to a record $45 billion in 2015. Indian imports from China accounted for as much as $58.25 billion, but its exports to China stood at a meager $13.38 billion. Experts have expressed concern over the widening trade deficit, warning that this won't be sustainable in the long term.
This is not a picture which can sustain. After all, your imports are very high, your exports are low. 45 billion US dollars is a very big amount. So certainly it's something matter of concern. And we have no option but to correct this imbalance. A, by reducing your imports, and B, by increasing your exports.
The trade deficit has jumped as Beijing has been shipping high-value engineering and electronic goods to the Indian market, while New Delhi in return has been exporting low-value goods such as iron ore. India's main items of export to China include petroleum products, gems and jewelry and other raw materials. Industry bodies have been pushing for outward shipment of manufactured products to narrow the trade gap.
Chinese have started focusing on increasing the domestic demand, as well as they are becoming much more competitive in the export market. So definitely their exports have also come down, but our exports are falling much faster than the Chinese exports.
India and China agreed to form a special task force during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Beijing last year. India has also been pressing China to step up investments in Make in India and other infrastructure projects. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And let's now take a look at what all will be making news through the course of the day in our segment, The Day Ahead. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi is slated to go on a 2-day visit to Mumbai. He is expected to address party workers and interact with the college students. Rahul will also take part in a demonstration against high power tariffs on Saturday. Top JDU leaders, including party President Sharad Yadav, are likely to meet in Patna to choose the party's new election symbol. The party now wants to change the symbol of arrow to something else. The party claims it lost at least 5 seats in the 2015 assembly elections due to confusion among voters caused by similar symbols of Shiv Sena and Jharkhand Mukti Morcha. The Delhi High Court will hear the case of call drops today. On Wednesday, the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India told the High Court that telecom operators should be penalised for every call drop. The cellular operators have reacted, stating that the TRI's call drop compensation regulation was a knee-jerk reaction which penalised them without proving any wrongdoing. A Delhi court will hear arguments on Delhi government's petition on the 15 December CBI raids at the Delhi Secretariat. The Delhi court will hear arguments on a government application seeking release of documents seized by CBI during its raid. The CBI had reportedly searched the office of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's principal secretary, Rajendra Kumar. We'll slip into another very short break. All the international news on the other side. Do stay with us.
যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে
তবে একলা চলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে
একলা চলো একলা চলো একলা চলো
विरासत में इस बार गुरुदेव रविंद्रनाथ ठाकुर का रचना संसार हिंदी में पहली बार सिर्फ राज्यसभा टेलीविजन पर।
একলা চলো একলা চলো একলা চলো।
Welcome back. You're watching Breakfast News. Now, the Pentagon yesterday announced that it has transferred 10 Yemeni detainees at Guantanamo Bay to the Arabian nation of Oman. The transfers bring the number of detainees remaining at the military prison to 93, down from 242 when President Barack Obama first took office. The White House termed it a significant milestone. In his State of the Union address on Tuesday, Obama said he would attempt to get Congress to back a plan to close the facility completely. Republicans, however, criticized the move, saying transferring detainees to other countries where they could be released and returned to the battlefield was not a solution. Meanwhile, the Indonesian police has arrested 3 men on suspicion of links to the series of blasts in Indonesian capital of Jakarta yesterday. 5 gunmen were among the 7 killed. President Joko Widodo said the situation was under control and called on people to remain calm. The Islamic State has claimed responsibility for the attack.
Terror struck Indonesia on Thursday. Up to 7 blasts and multiple gunfights hit the capital, Jakarta, leaving at least 7 people, including 5 gunmen, dead. The blast took place around one of the capital's busiest places, Thamrin Street, which is a major shopping and business district close to embassies and the United Nations offices. One of the blasts hit a Starbucks cafe outside the Serena shopping center and next to a police security post. As soon as the blasts went off, police cordoned off the area around the shopping center. The attackers used grenades and engaged in a gunfight with officers. Sporadic gunfire was reported for several hours after the blast. 5 gunmen were killed and reports say that 3 attackers have also been arrested. A manhunt is underway for more suspects.
5 teroris mati. Masih ada sisa, Pak? Kita belum tahu ada sisa, tapi sekarang kita lakukan pengejaran di mana-mana, tapi kita belum bisa berspekulasi.
It is not clear exactly how many gunmen were involved. Islamic State claimed responsibility for the attack, which President Joko Widodo called an act of terror. Islamic State had earlier in November last year warned of a concert or an attack in Indonesia, which would be international news.
Tindakan yang mengganggu keamanan masyarakat, mengganggu ketenangan rakyat, dan menebar teror pada masyarakat. Dan saya telah perintahkan kepada Kapolri, pada Menko Polhukam,
memastikan, tetapi kalau dari warning yang disampaikan bahwa Indonesia akan terjadi konser dan akan menjadi berita internasional.
Warning dari mana, Pak?
Dari grup ISIS,
It is estimated that 500 to 700 Indonesians have joined the Islamic State militant group in Iraq and Syria, with the government expressing concern their return home could spark attacks. Thursday's attack was the first major attack in Indonesia's capital since the 2009 bombings in 2 hotels that killed 7 people and injured more than 50. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And British actor Alan Rickman, famous for his roles in the Harry Potter series and Die Hard, died yesterday at the age of 69. His death was confirmed by his family members, who said he died surrounded by his family and friends. Rickman had been suffering from cancer. He got his big acting break in the mid-1980s before making his first major film appearance in Die Hard in 1988. Alan Rickman recently played the role of Professor Snape in the much-loved Harry Potter films. And time now for all the other international news and events across the globe in World Wrap. Members of the US-led coalition fighting Islamic State will meet next week in Paris to reinforce efforts against the group. The confirmation on the meeting was given by French Defense Minister on Thursday. Speaking to the media, the minister also said that the militants were clearly retreating in Iraq. Since the Paris attacks by Islamic State in November, France has stepped up its aerial bombing campaign of the group, including in Syria, contributing about 20% of coalition strikes. On Thursday, the French forces struck in Mosul on a Daesh telecommunications center, a propaganda center used by the Islamic State. A Bavarian mayor, angry about Germany's asylum policy, sent a busload of Syrian migrants to Chancellor Angela Merkel's office in Berlin on Thursday. Dreyer said by doing so, he wanted to send a signal that Germany's asylum policies could not continue as before. An anti-migrant sentiment has been growing in Germany since the Cologne attacks on New Year's Eve. Chancellor Merkel is also under tremendous pressure for her open-door migrant policy. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has warned Syria's warring parties, particularly President Bashar al-Assad's government, against committing atrocious acts against civilians. He said harrowing images of starving civilians in the besieged town of Madaya reflects a new low in a war that has already reached shocking depths of inhumanity. Use of starvation as a weapon of war is a war crime, he said, adding that even hostages taken in war are fed properly. The town of Madaya is besieged by pro-Syrian government forces. NASA has released still images showing a possible ice volcano on Pluto. The images feature a composite photo taken in July 2015 by the New Horizons spacecraft imager from a range of about 30,000 miles. The team named the feature seen in the image as Wright Mons in the honor of the aviation pioneering Wright brothers. According to NASA, the feature would be the largest volcano discovered in the outer solar system if it is proven to be a volcano. And in the second one-day against Australia, India are 134 for 2 in 24 overs for the loss of Shikhar Dhawan's and Virat Kohli's wicket. Rohit Sharma is batting at the crease right now. Earlier, India won the toss and elected to bat. First match centurion Rohit Sharma scored another half-century today. Kohli, unfortunately, was run out on a score of 59 runs. And in some other sports news, Sania Mirza and her Swiss partner Martina Hingis yesterday broke a 22-year-old world record by winning their 29th women's doubles match in a row en route to their entry into the women's doubles final of the WTA Sydney International. The world number 1 pair survived a scare and came from behind to beat the pair of Romanian Raluca Oloru and Kazakhstan's Yaroslava Shvedova 4-6, 6-3, 10-8 in a closely fought semi-final. They now have surpassed the pair of Puerto Rican Gigi Fernandez and Belarusian Natasha Zvereva, who won 28 matches on the trot during their successful pairing back in 1994. The Indo-Swiss pair has continued their good show from 2015 when they won 9 titles, which included the Wimbledon, the US Open and the year-ending WTA finals. 2016 has also started on a fabulous note as they now have made it to the second straight finals, having won the Brisbane International last week. A win in the finals will be their 11th WTA title together. That's it from us in this bulletin. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.